All right, welcome back to another live drawing of a Christmas art piece for March 23rd, 2022. So today's episode is going to be another character from the Rankin Bass Rudolph special. What we're going to do today is the quote unquote bad guy. Not really bad guy, but we're going to do the Bumble. So I want to try to do this in a different style today. What I think I was going to do, like, I had the thought of Yukon Cornelius, the little guy that's mining, I want to do the drawing as if he quickly drew the Bumble to show somebody what he saw up in the mountains. So it's not going to be as detailed. It's going to kind of look scribbly, kind of like if someone were to just draw it really quick, just to say, "Look, this was up in the mountains. This is what I found." So that's how we're going to do the Bumble today. So we're going to start with your sketch. So if you don't know, the Bumble is an abominable snowman. So he's a larger character with fur and very gorilla-like features with the blue hands and feet. But I think we're just gonna, like I said, do him like really, really lowbrow, I guess you could say. So the Bumble is eventually turns out to be a nice character, but he's all covered in white fur. Right now, he kind of looks like an Among Us character there. Got some blue lips, fangs, a lot of teeth. And we'll zoom in, give him. Like I said, it's going to definitely be lacking detail because I want this to seem like something somebody sketched out really quick. And he naturally does have these lines on his face like I like to draw anyway, so that's kind of fun. So what I'm doing, like I said, just my sketch layer here. It's usually really sloppy, but it gives you a good base for what you're working with. So that's already a pretty decent Bumble head, in my opinion. Maybe not for everybody, but it's not bad. Like I said, very ape-like features. So he's got his whole body is just covered in fur, so you're not going to really be able to see any of that detail except for his hands. Now those have detail. So all this is just going to be fur. And like I said, Yukon's going to be drawing this, so it's not going to be perfect. I think I might have my pencil a little darker. I'm pressing a little harder, more harder than usual, but this is the um, pencil brush, I guess you could call them brushes. All right, now the Bumble, like I said, has blue feet. Big old toenails there. I was trying to think of some other characters that I could do from this movie where maybe I'll do one every once in a while. But a couple other ideas I was thinking of doing for my daily drawings would be I listen to like a lot of Christmas podcasts, so I was thinking one of these days maybe doing like not redoing, but doing my take on their logos for the podcast or something like that. I think that would be kind of a cool idea. I don't remember if the Bumble has claws, but again, if we're going for like Yukon drawing this, we're gonna exaggerate some things because he'd probably want to tell everybody, this thing had razor sharp teeth and everything else you could think of to exaggerate it just to make him seem like more of a hero. So we're gonna give him big claws. Or he probably doesn't really have big claws in the movie. I can't remember. I actually didn't watch that movie this past year. And I normally watch it once, but I just didn't get around to it this year. All right, so that's gonna be our sketch layer. Nothing too fancy, like I said. I want to do it kind of sloppy anyway, so this is gonna be perfect. So what I'm gonna do is start a new layer, and I'm gonna go to, let's see, we're gonna use. Let me try this brush real quick, see if it looks. Yeah, we'll do that. I'm gonna thin it up a little bit, and I think I'm gonna just start with some of the fur. I don't want this to be too thick here. But the more sketchy I make it, the more it's going along with the theme how I want. I always got to double check here, make sure I'm on the correct layer. I've done that before where I'll be drawing and then I'll look and I'll be on the pencil layer or one of the layers that I need to have invisible later. So then all that work is basically done. I'm sure there's a way around it, like to fix that, but I haven't looked into it too much. All right, back to just adding fur and scribbles. I would like to think that if Yukon was like at a bar or something with the other guys that are around there, like he would exaggerate some stories as to what's up in the mountains. All right, now we'll go on to the hands. These are gonna get big claws, and I'll go look at a picture of him later and see that he probably doesn't have claws at all. But that's okay because this is Yukon telling the story. It's not me. That nail's so sloppy. It's like bent over. Must have stubbed it climbing a mountain or something. All right, now we'll go work on a little bit of the face detailing here. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller, and I think we'll start with the fur again. I think we'll come back and add a little bit of these detail lines later, but we'll keep those ones for now. And I think if Yukon was telling the story, these teeth are going to be much bigger than what they really are. And I know he has a bottom lip. So we'll draw a little bit of fur down here because I think his lip's going to be dark blue as well. Well, that didn't. That looked a little weird. Gotta give him some muscle definition here under that fur. All right, so now we're going to erase or get rid of that layer. Um, reference this layer. Now I'm going to. The tough thing is the Bumble's white. So what I'm going to do for some of the coloring, we're going to just go with like a grayish color just to kind of do like the lighter parts of, or the darker parts of him. Because he's white fur, so we'll do some. That's a little too big. We'll do some fur lines in gray, and then we'll do some shadowing later. But again, remember, this is Yukon, so this might be a little scribbly. Just jotting this down here. So we won't do too much detail here with the fur. We'll kind of. Now, I really don't think if you're sitting there telling a story about something that you saw in the mountains, you'd sit there and do shading, but I'm just going to do it just because I don't want it to look too flat. So I will do some shading on it, but not too much. But for the most part, I just want it to look like it was just scribbled down. So now the skin tone, I don't know. It's kind of like I said, I said blue, but I think it's more of like a violet color, like a violet blue. So I have to try to find a good combination of that color. Yeah, we might stick with this color. That looks pretty good to me. So now we're just gonna do some scribbling in here. Same thing with the hands. And his feet. And then I forgot. We gotta do his lip. I want to say his nails are probably going to be a darker color. The brush that I'm using for this, it's called a cackle brush. It's a Groot cackle brush. I don't know. I don't remember if that was on the app or if I downloaded it. But it has a nice like. I'll zoom in really close here. Kind of like a crayonish type of effect. Like when you go to a restaurant and they give you really shitty generic crayons, how they're real waxy. Kind of has that feel to it. All right, so he's got a purple lip. I think let's see. I'll do the inside of his mouth because I'll put a tongue in there. I don't know if you ever really see his tongue, but all right, we'll give him a dark purplish red tongue. We'll just throw that in here. All right, let me erase that. And then with his nails, we're gonna go back to this violet color. We'll go with a darker version of it and just color in some nails here. And same thing with the toenails. What I like about some of these brushes is you just go right over some of the old colors and it doesn't blend in with it. Some of the brushes do. I prefer when they just cover it completely like that. All right. So that's basically the premise here of the Bumble. What I think I could do, I wonder if I could fill him in white. Let me just see. Yeah, I got to do that on a different layer, see what happens. I'll add a layer underneath this one so all my stuff stays. All right, that worked. So it did bleed through. Oh well, no big deal. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of a background on it, but I think I'm going to do some shading first. I'll do it on this layer that I'm on here. I don't know how this brush will look for shading. Yeah, it's not bad. So we'll go ahead and add some shading to the Bumble here. Again, Yukon's not going to take the time out of his sketch to do this, but so I don't know, like right there, I don't want it to look like such a T like that. So what I'm going to do is put the blend on. I think I'm just going to soften it a little bit. That'll just blend it into the colors around it. Could make it look a little more furry too, just so it's not as in your face. Now the other shadows I'm going to leave darker like that because I think it looks better like that. Just certain areas you don't want such a hard line. All right, now I got to go back to this layer because that other layer was underneath it, so it wouldn't work. All right, now we're going to go small on this again. We'll add That's a little too big. I'll just add a little bit of my details. So this isn't from Yukon. This is mine. A little bit of battle damage. Let's see what we can do here. I'll give him a couple of lines on his hands. Same thing over here. I just want to say hi to anyone that's joined in. If you're watching live, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. There we go. I gotta draw the top part of this lip, I think. I don't like how it was just floating like that. That looks a little better. Let's see. Add a couple of furs coming off of them, and then we'll look at the background. I think I'm just gonna do like a really faint mountain scene. A little furry on the toe there. And I think that is going to do it for the Bumble. I like the way he looks. Now, I wonder if Yukon. I'm just trying to picture what Yukon might say. I think maybe he would say he saw him eating somebody. I don't know. So maybe we give him a little bit of a splatter. Nothing too major. I don't want to be too gruesome here with the Bumble. Poor guy. He probably has a hard life. So I won't go too gruesome with him here, but we'll give him a little bit of blood splatter just because it might be what Yukon tells people. All right, so now we're gonna go with the background. We're gonna go. I think I have to do it on this layer, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna try a different technique. What I'm gonna do is select. I'm gonna select the outline here of the Bumble. So it's gonna be. It's not gonna be perfect just because of it, the furriness of his outline here. But what I want to try to accomplish here. So if I do that, then I invert it. It should only be the background. So now whatever I do is not going to cover Bumble. Hey, Bad Art Lover. Thanks for joining. So what I think I want to do, I'll do I don't know, we'll kind of stick with a blue theme here for the mountains in the background. I got to get out of this one here because I'm going to go back to my cackle one. Yeah, that's not bad. All right, so we're going to do that. And I wonder if I drop this in. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Why would it cover above it? I wonder if I have. Oh, I know why. All right, no big deal. All right, so we're gonna color this in real quick. All right, then what we're gonna do is a little bit lighter one to go on top of that. And again, a little bit lighter. So we have somewhat of a mountain range behind them there, and then it'll blend into just the white snow on the bottom. And then we'll do a sky. Let's give them a. I don't know. Let's do a light purple sky. I guess that's kind of more pink, but then we'll unselect it. And we're going to give the Bumble a little bit of a shadow just because you don't want him to look like he's standing on nothing. So we're going to go back to black, lighten the opacity up a little bit, add a little bit of a shadow. I think I'm going to blend that shadow into the ground a little bit. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger. just so it's not as hard of a line. All right, so that, in my opinion, is what the Bumble would look like if Yukon Cornelius was drawing him. But then again, he probably wouldn't even have that much detail in it. He would probably sketch something out really quick. See if I could. I don't even know what he would do. I would assume he would just do something ridiculous. Ugh. All right, but that's gonna do it for this piece. So we're gonna sign the bottom here. And today is the 23rd. All right, so as usual, what I'm going to do is pop him up on the screen here and zoom in so you can see the details of the Bumble through the eyes of Yukon Cornelius. And as always, I appreciate you guys watching. I definitely love feedback. If you want to send some feedback my way, you could post on any of my Instagram posts or email me, aguedesigns@gmail.com, or you could just send me a message through here. Oh, thanks, Ripley. Glad you enjoy it. Roar! All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll talk to you next week.